Hi my loves, welcome to Peek and Choose My 5-Star Lifestyle. I am Nicole Payne and I'm so happy you're joining me today again. And if you are for the first time, well, what is a 5-star lifestyle? Well, I try to live that from the inside out. And I do that by every day tapping into my imagination, following my intuition, living my passion, and I connect with myself and with people around me. And every day I peek and choose to make choices at the end of each day makes me happy. As I mentioned, it's a daily lifestyle. It's something that I do every day. The results are amazing. And, you know, I always, at the end of each day, can put my head on the pillow and go, you know what? Thank God I made it through. I'm grateful for everything that I went through. And I look for all the good spots, you know, all the good things that worked out for me. Give thanks for that. And, you know, for the things that were not on par with what I wanted, and let that go. Because, you know what I mean? I'm always focused on just being happy. Bottom line for my life, actually. So anyways, and I shouldn't say anyways, let's get right into what I'm sharing today. I know we've all had that moment when we have this great idea or this dream or this, you know, whatever it is that we're excited about. And the first thing we want to do is to broadcast to the world. You know, it could be whether you have a new relationship or a new job or you're moving or, you know, change, something amazing that's going to happen. You're trying something new. You know, you get excited about that. You're like, I need to tell somebody. And so you call up that friend or you call your parents, whatever it is that you do. You're like, I need to share this news. Okay. Well, I am like that. Just so I know you probably would have said the same, you know, you want to share. But coming from an inclusive culture, Guyana, where everybody's like, you know, one and the same, you know. If you're going somewhere, you get invited to a wedding, and you're like, on your way to the wedding, you see your friend, hey, where you going? I'm going to a wedding. Well, you want to come? No invitation extended from the actual bride and groom. It's just, you know, you see your friend there and they come along with you. You have a birthday party, the same thing, you know. Anything you're doing, you're like, everybody's included. Let's just do this, you know. And I learned really quickly, actually, this does not work in the business world. You have to be careful about what, not even just the business world. I mean, in anything, I learned my lesson in a very, very, very harsh way. But I was not left alone to endure it. Okay, good always comes out of everything I do, and in everything you do, in every negative and every dark place, there's always going to be some light, a little bit of a light there, a little bit of, you know, silver lining. Just look for that in every situation. So backtracking a bit, I wanted to create an event. I wanted to get into event planning, and I had no idea how to do it, except that I know I love people and I love bringing people together. So like how you're supposed to live life, you just jump in, you know. So I created this idea where I can bring businesses together in a setting where, you know, it's very what's the word, practical, in that you can network. But it was also done in a social setting where, you know, you come and we have these little Moroccan tents set up. You can sit there, you can sit at a table. Even the performers that were performing were people that were actually showcasing their artistry and their gifts, promoting themselves that way. You know, the entertainment was done like that. The networking was all businesses from different walks of life. So you get a feel for, you know, what else is out there, and we're supporting each other. And I wanted it to be 5-star, you know, the best of everything. We had red carpet, I had a great location, and I had a limousine service set up, everything top of the line, right? Because I want to put my best foot forward, and I was super excited about the idea, and I had it all planned in my head, and I had the paperwork done, and then I decided, hey, I should just do this by myself. I should tell people about this, you know. And I started sharing it with people, and then a couple of people caught on to it. And these were people I barely knew. I was having a meeting with them, and they're like, you know, that's such a fabulous idea. Can I help? And I was like, well, I really didn't need the help in my head. But you know what? Let's include everybody. You know, they have ideas and they have strengths. Maybe they can come aboard. So that person came aboard, and then I went to another event. I met somebody else, and they heard about the idea. And they're like, can I help? Remember, these people are offering their help. And I'm like, you know what? Let's all do this. You know, we were all gung-ho, and we're going to get this event going, and it's going to be huge. All right. So we started planning about 3 months ahead of the actual launch date. So we had plenty of time, but I must remind you that this was my idea, and I knew what I wanted. So I had everything in place. So it's just a matter of delegating to them, you know, things that I think they can actually help with. But as time progressed, I noticed that every task that I sent out, I was actually still involved with it. Not that I was being a control freak. It was just I knew what I wanted, but in the same breath, you know, they would still kind of lean on me. So I was like doing double the work, which was not necessary. But yeah, you know, getting everybody involved. That's what Nicole does. So as time progressed, as I mentioned, we started meeting frequently, which was not necessary. There were a lot of things that were not necessary because I had so much in place. But anyways, something really interesting happened. Days before the actual event launched, I wanted to meet with the group again. It was just 3 of us now, the core group, and we had a meeting. And whilst in the middle of the meeting, a gentleman, an older person, an older guy, he had come into the area where we were sitting, and he went to the far corner of the set, and he took out a newspaper and he's reading it. I mentioned that because it was not a big deal, you know. We were in an open space where anybody could come in, but he came in, sat in the corner, said hi to us, sat in the corner, and we continued our meeting. He was not interrupting, he was not intruding, he was not even close to the meeting, close enough to, you know, be like in earshot for everything we were saying. So halfway through the meeting, the girls, 2 of the girls said to me, we need to go to the washroom. And you know how women are, right? We like to gang up together to go to the washroom. And I said, okay, both of them needs to go to the washroom at the same time. Okay, no problem. So they went off. I thought nothing of it. They went off to use the washroom. And the gentleman got up right after they left. And he walked towards the elevator because we were on the top floor. And he says, sounds like you guys have a really nice event set up. And I was, you know, it surprised me because I wasn't even paying attention to him. And I said, yes. And he said, it sounds really good. He says, but those 2, they're going to run you dry. And I know, I just paused. The elevator door opened. He walked into the elevator and disappeared. Left me with that that lasting impression that even as I talk to you today, I am so thankful for it. But I didn't understand it at the time. He says, those 2 are going to run you dry. Yeah, what would you say if you heard something like that? Right, it really stopped me in my tracks. Fast forward to the event, 3 days before the event. I didn't know why he said what he said, but it stuck with me. It's still with me. And 3 days before the event, the caterer decided to pull out, and everything went downhill from there. The girls at the event, the helpers, they just kind of came to me one day and they're like, you know what? You know, we offered to help, but we see this business is going to be huge, and we want to be able to be paid for our services. Remember, they asked to offer, they had offered their help. They never asked for financial payment, and they're like, we saw the numbers, which I did. I disclosed everything to them because I was so open. I was so happy. Come on, let's go on board. Let's do this. Let's, you know, make this happen. And so they saw the potential or the projected income that could come from this and the whatever else comes out of being able to bring all these businesses together. They saw opportunities and they're like, you know what, we want to be paid for this. And it kind of threw me because, you know, I was like, you know, thank you for helping, but I mean, we don't know if this is the money we're going to make. But anyways, so the caterer left just like that. I had to scramble literally to find a caterer, and that did not happen. I had to sign a contract with them, and all of a sudden they want to be paid. At the event, they just literally threw back. They're just like, you know what, everything's done here. They were not helping at all. You know, they even got a bit tipsy, and I was basically performing that night. I was running around. I had to call my family to help me to get food ready because people had paid, you know, so much money to come to this event, and now we don't have any food. And I had to be so open with my guests. I was so shattered, but you know what? I had to keep a straight face, and I had to be strong, and I had to perform and hold an event together whilst everything was falling down around me. Thankfully, the limousine guy, he jumped in. He says, you know what, Nicole, you don't even have to pay me. I'm going to take the people to wherever they want to go to get something to eat. And that's what he did. And the people had a fun time. He took them, you know, to McDonald's and took them for rides, and they all had a blast. And they understood what was happening. They stood by me, even though people, you know, that were so-called friends or helpers had alternative motives for me. They really sabotaged me that night, to the point where they were just like, you know, the money that was brought in at the door, they even decided they were going to take that. It was a mess. Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. And at the end of the night, I don't know how I survived that night, but I say this to say the people understood, the people stood by me, and a couple of them came after the show and they said, this was amazing and we want to help you. We understand what happened here. People are who they are, and you planned the next event and we will help you. And we jumped on board and we planned that event together in what took 3 months was done in 3 weeks, because I learned everything that I shouldn't have done. I learned that in that big ugly lesson, and I understood that night, like I managed to just basically break even from that event. I had no extra money. Everything was out of my pocket, and I thank God I broke even. I wasn't in debt, but it was horrible. And yes, they did leave me dry, just like the gentleman, the old guy said in the elevator. So who was this guy that was sent at that moment? Now I had two choices at that time. I suppose I could have pulled out because, you know, but at that time nothing seemed out of the ordinary, you know. But at least I got a forewarning of what to expect, and that was enough to crush me, to crush my dream, to crush my confidence, you know. And but it didn't. I'm so glad that I had people, the real true friends, real true strangers, actually they were. I met them at the event, that actually came beside me, lifted me up and said, you can do this, we will help you. You know, so I'm thankful that, you know, it could have been worse, and I'm thankful I didn't give up. And I want you to know today that if you have endeavors that you want to follow through with in your life, there, you know, little life goals you have, you know, find the right people that are there for you for real and not for their own personal gain. You know, you have to learn to identify that. You have to learn to know that you may have to do a little bit of testing to see where their heart's at when they said, you know, I want to help, I'm there for you. You know, not everybody is there for you. Not everybody is there for your good intention. And that's the sad truth. However, don't lose hope. Don't allow them and their negativity to bring you down, okay? They don't want to see you prosper. They don't want to see you rise. Why? Because they're stuck. And they're like, you know what? I know I'm stuck and nobody else is going to rise if I'm going to be in this low spot. So they will seek you out to try to pull you down, not to lift you up. And even if their intention is like coming from a part of I care, pay attention to if they really do care, okay? And just hold on to your dream, know what you want, be clear about it, execute it, and only reach out when you know it's that you got a good vibe about whomever you're going to be vibing with to get it done, all right? I absolutely love you. Peek and choose my 5-star lifestyle.
Like and subscribe and watch for your notification. Peek and choose your 5-star lifestyle, my 5-star lifestyle.